with King Cleese in the saddle. The rest stand well. Spanish Beans, the last one to come up. So Spanish Beans now links in. Gates are closed behind him and they're ready. All set for the last. Barron Valley Hotel and Bundy Rum. Set, they're off and racing. Nuclear Girl and Lordy Lou, they've come out a little bit backwards, and Confined Thoughts was drifting back, whereas Project Paperclip went straight to the lead, led by 2. In second place in going around them to them, and they were followed also there. Going around them quickly is Nuclear Girl. She's kept going from the rear after missing the start and now got to the lead. So Nuclear Girl down the hill toward the 600. Lauren Gurnier out in front here by a length. The Project Paperclip settling better in the run now. They were followed by Bellotti Beans. She's been talking. Manabu Kai starting to angle into the race. So too Spanish Beans. Lady of Fortune is going to wait for luck in between them, and they were followed by Heroic Angel getting to the outside. Then Confined Thoughts and Loudy Lou. Bellotti Beans hit the front. Out after it now is Lady of Fortune. Look at Lady of Fortune eating up the ground. Bellotti Beans in front. Lady of Fortune coming. Bellotti Beans. Lady of Fortune. Bellotti Beans. Lady of Fortune. The grey mare's going to do it. Lady of Fortune first. Or Spanish Beans and Bellotti Beans in a photo for second and third. Then Confined Thoughts and Loudy Lou. They were 2 big runs. They've come from the rear. Heroic Angel was wide. She's been talking. Nuclear Girl and Project Paperclip the last one in. Great finish to the last. Lady of Fortune, the grey mare, Dave Reynolds and little Norbignardi. He is riding up a storm, little Mac. And he had some pickup rides at Laura about a month ago, and ever since then, he rode about 3 winners that day, and ever since then he's been on fire. Just what a little bit of Lady Luck can do for you, and Lady Luck's got Norbignardi, another winner. Lady of Fortune, the grey mare, number 7. And once again it'll be the Beans that'll run the minor placings. But number 7, Lady of Fortune, a grey mare by the Factor out of Sweet Jaffa, raced by Miss D.K. Hamlin and G.G. Brown for David Reynolds in Townsville and Norbignardi. Lady of Fortune, the 5-year-old grey mare, has got the prize. Now it's tight for second. You've got Spanish Beans on the outside and Bellotti Beans. They finished, I reckon, a photo here last time they raced at Atherton. Numbers coming to hand. 7. 1 Spanish Beans gets up for second, so David Reynolds Quinella's the race. 2 Bellotti Beans is third. 9 gets fourth, and that's Confined Thoughts. And 6 Heroic Angel was fifth. So 7, 1, 2. 7, 1, 2, 9. 9 Confined Thoughts, so that's come from last. It's been a big run. Heroic Angel was back there with it. And Loudy Lou wouldn't have been far behind them either. 7, 1, 2, 9, the last 7. Lady of Fortune, the Factor, Sweet Jaffa, a grey mare, David Reynolds and Norbignardi. David Reynolds Quinella's the event with number 1 Spanish Beans by Spill the Beans from Spanish Sister for Dave Reynolds T. Allwood, trained by Dave Reynolds, ridden by King Cleese. And third is 2 Bellotti Beans, Lacey Morrison and Michael Lee. For Michael and Mrs. M.Y. Lee is Spill the Beans Platinum Ruby, 3-year-old gelding, and ridden by Lacey Morrison. Officially fourth was number 9, which was Confined Thoughts, and that's come from last, the Hinchinbrook mare from Ashawagwa. Miss B.M. Moffat and Mrs. M.R. Newton, trained by Kristen Elland at Innisfail, and Rachel Shred might be one to put in the black book over the distance. Confined Thoughts, a nice little run to finish fourth. Yes, we'll have the margins and times.
Margin is a length by a short half head.
A length by a short half head.
And 126.24.
126.24. Thanks, Lloyd. Thanks your work for the day. 1 length by a short half head, the margins, and 126.24 was the time. 126.24, 7.129 in the last today at Morrow Park, Tolga, for the Atherton Turf Club's 5-event program. We'll have correct weight very shortly on the final event, the Barron Valley Hotel Bundy Rum, Tudis benchmark 50, been run and won by number 7, Lady of Fortune.